Hey guys, happy Sunday. So this next week is Thanksgiving week. This month has flown by. And before we get into Thanksgiving, all the holidays, all the treats and the desserts and the rich foods and the comfort foods and all of that stuff, I wanted to do a quick video with some tips for you, some digestive aids for you to use throughout the holiday season. And really this works any time of year, but especially now because you may be eating not as well as you usually would, and so you may need some extra digestive support, right? So there's going to be 7 tips. This will still be a quick video, but 7 tips that I have. The first tip is just something not to do. So as you're getting ready to eat a meal, don't drink a bunch of water or a bunch of soda or a bunch of tea or a bunch of whatever right before you're going to eat, and actually don't drink too much while you're eating. What that does is increase the level of liquid versus the level of acid in your stomach. And if you have too much liquid in your stomach, then you don't have enough acid ratio to digest the food as well. So it's really drink when you're drinking, eat when you're eating. And the same thing goes for wine, right? Don't drink 4 glasses of wine, which it's not great for you anyway, but maybe just a small glass of wine while you're eating. That way you don't have too many liquids in your stomach while you're trying to digest. The second tip is include spices in your food. Now, this doesn't just mean pepper spices. So pepper, though, and black pepper, but doesn't have to be like cayenne, stuff like that. Just spices in general. Using cinnamon when you're, cooking your desserts, using, I don't know, basil, tarragon, parsley, thyme, all of the spices that you can think of. The more spices you put in your food, the more that's going to help your digestive fire. All of those, especially the spicy spices, are going to increase the heat in your stomach as you're digesting, and that is going to help that digestive process. So if you're a slow digester, if you feel like you eat a meal and you feel full for a really long time afterwards, that is a potential sign that you have low digestive enzymes or low stomach acid. So if you feel like that's you you feel full for a really long time after eating, include some more spices in the food that you're cooking. And it's a perfect time when you're, eating Thanksgiving meal, because that sage and thyme and all that stuff, goes really well with that meal. So tip number 3 are 3 particular spices or 3 particular things that you can add to your diet that will help with digestion. And those are ginger, peppermint, and cinnamon. So ginger is very soothing to the stomach, just in general, the stomach area, as well as digestion. All of these are going to help with inflammation, which if you're eating a lot of foods you generally wouldn't eat and really shouldn't eat, right? Glutens and bad fats and sugars and all of that stuff. It's going to help keep the inflammation down a little bit. So ginger is very soothing. Peppermint can have a cooling effect, but it also helps the muscles contract in the digestive tract, so it can help speed the process of digestion once it hits your intestines. And that can be really great, especially if you're eating a lot more food than you're used to. Just keep that food moving through. And then cinnamon is again one of those spicy spices which helps with that stomach fire, but it's also anti-inflammatory. So any of those 3, it could be ginger root, cinnamon, shaking the cinnamon spice into things, drinking peppermint tea, adding peppermint, into your dessert or as a garnish in your salad, things like that. But it can also just be the oils. So you can get a ginger oil, a peppermint oil, a cinnamon oil, and you can add 1 drop to your food. You can rub that in. If it's the regular oil, you can do a drop in water or a drop under your tongue if it's the Vitality oil. And this, adding it into things and taking it in internally, gets us to our 4th tip, which is drinking tea. So maybe an hour after you've eaten, 2 hours after you've eaten, and you're wanting that digestive process to continue, and you're not too worried about the stomach acid situation I talked about at the beginning. So kind of sometime after dinner, it has been over for a little while, drinking some ginger tea, peppermint tea, chai tea, which has a lot of spices, including ginger, cinnamon, clove, all of that good stuff. So drinking one of those teas can definitely be a positive way of influencing your digestion. You can also make a Thieves tea, where you take Thieves Essential Oil, do a drop or 2 into some hot water, add a squeeze of lemon. That's it. Just a super simple tea, so there's no caffeine involved. And that can be really, really soothing and speeding for digestion as well. Okay, so the next tip is super simple. After you eat, go for a walk, right? So if you are wanting your digestion to continue to move, you're wanting to get that the stomach, the heat up in your stomach, get that food digested, get it moving through your intestinal tract, get everything, continuing to go smoothly. Do not just eat and sit and eat and sit and eat and sit. And that is a really bad tendency that we all have at the holidays. Eat and then sit around and chat. And with family members we haven't seen in a long time. And all of that is fantastic. But guess what? All of those family members could go for a walk with you, right? So getting everybody together, just going for a walk around the neighborhood, getting in the car and going to the mall and going for a walk. Maybe not Black Friday weekend, but you get the idea. Going to a park if the weather is good and going for a walk, just kind of moving after you eat will get that digestion started and help it to continue so that you're not just getting yourself backed up from a whole bunch of sitting around after you eat. Super simple one. Another one is going to be to make sure that if you're going to eat sugar, because aren't we all, don't eat a little bit of sugar throughout the day thinking if I just eat a little bit at a time it's better for me somehow. No. You want to eat your dessert in one sitting. You want to eat just one time when you're eating sweet stuff, not little bits and pieces all day long, because every time you take in sugar, you're increasing your blood sugar level. And it can only increase so much, but it can do that every time that you eat sugar. So if you nibble throughout the day, a little, cookie here, some pecan pralines here, a little bit of like fruit salad here, and then dessert after dinner, what you're doing is spiking and dropping your blood sugar over and over and over and over and over again. So don't snack on sugary things. If you're going to snack, make it savory, make it something that is not as impactful, right? So maybe sweet potato chips, or obviously, salad would be great, but even like fruit versus dessert, just do all of your desserting at one time is going to make a huge difference in that kind of exhaustion that you feel at the end of a blood sugar spike, okay? And then the last one, I want to talk a little bit specifically about DiGize oil. So that's kind of the one I know that you all anticipated me talking about, so I don't want to leave it out, although I do have a bunch on YouTube. If you just type in digestion on my YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of videos where I go more in depth into supplements as well as essential oils for digestion. These are just like falling off a log easy tips I want to share with you guys today. But so DiGize essential oil is the one that is really the blend for supporting digestion. It's made purposely for that. And it has in there tarragon, ginger, peppermint, juniper, fennel, lemongrass, anise, patchouli. So you've just heard a lot of spices, right? Lemongrass is very cleansing. I didn't talk about that earlier. Patchouli, much like frankincense, is going to be a grounding oil, but also really good for just supporting the health of your digestive tract. Ginger we already talked about. The rest are just those spices that are really going to increase that digestive fire, right? So in terms of how to use DiGize, now there is a DiGize regular bottle and there is a DiGize Vitality bottle. And the Vitality means that you can take it internally. DiGize does not taste or smell great. It's one of the kind of the least nose-friendly essential oils. So what I will do if I know that I'm gonna have a cheat day, right? I would take, and it doesn't matter whether it's Vitality or not, really in this case, because I'm just gonna put a drop under my tongue, which if you just let it soak in rather than swallowing, is still technically topical use. Now, DiGize in this bottle and DiGize in the white Vitality bottle, same thing. It's just what I can say to you guys to do with it, right? So if I were to take a drop under my tongue and then let that soak in 30 seconds and then drink a glass of water to get the taste out of my mouth, that is kind of a quick and easy way to get it in your system. You can also, if you just cannot stand the smell, put it on your feet and put socks on. Then you really won't, wash your hands, then you really won't smell it. But one really great way to use this is to just put some in your hand, put a drop or two in your hand. You can put carrier oil if you want to. That's totally up to you and the sensitivity level of your skin. I tend to use oils neat, but that's just me and my skin. So put a drop, maybe some olive oil if you want in there, and then rub it on your tummy. So rub it from your liver area, which is right around your rib cage, all the way down to your belly button and below, right, all over your tummy, okay? And that's going to get those oils topically right where you want them to be. That is going to be a really great thing to do maybe before a meal, but I like to do it under my tongue before a meal, because that's really like that, the throat and the stomach area is where I kind of want this digestive action at first. Then after a meal, rubbing it around the intestinal area and the liver area is really great for continuing that digestive process all the way through. That makes sense. Now, one caveat to DiGize. I've had some people who have reached out to me and said, I have IBS, or I have Crohn's, or I have diverticulitis, or something like that. And I deal with my digestion being too fast versus too slow. If you already have overly fast digestion, you know, your diarrhea, things like that, then DiGize, you can try it, but it may continue to speed up your digestive process. So that may not be the best for you. Whereas those of us who tend to eat too much and then that gets you stopped up, DiGize is perfect for that. But you may want to try something very gentle, like ginger would be a go-to for you if you have a too quick digestive system. Try that, soothing. You know, it's helping with your digestion, but it's not as speedy as DiGize is. So I would say start there and see how that works for you. The other thing is that we don't really talk about, I have so many oils right here. Here we go. We don't really talk about Thieves so much in terms of digestion, but it is great for digestion. And I mentioned that you can put it in the tea. You can also put a drop under your tongue. You can do it topically as well. It's a spicy one, so I would recommend using some carrier oil for that. But what is in Thieves? Thieves has clove, lemon, cinnamon, rosemary, and somewhere in there, eucalyptus, I think. Oh yeah, eucalyptus radiata, and lemon. So that's going to be those spicy oils. That's going to be that fire in the stomach. That's going to be that anti-inflammatory and moving things through oils. So if you don't love the taste of DiGize, don't love the smell of DiGize, nobody can get you to use DiGize, you refuse, try Thieves and see how that works for you. So those are my 7 tips for your digestive health, digestive aids for the holiday season. I hope that's super helpful for you. Check out the comments. I've written all of them out so that you have, you know, a quick reference guide as well. So happy Thanksgiving, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Hey there. So if you're checking out these videos on YouTube or watching a replay on Patreon or what have you, if you loved this, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell so that you can see more videos like this in the future. More people that show that they appreciate that, the more other people can become aware of it. So thank you in advance for your encouragement, your support, and I can't wait to see how we grow alongside each other. See you soon.